Hi everyone, it's time for a day late driver's debrief vlog. This time was very similar to last time, except it wasn't a mock test. In fact, it was pretty much the exact same route, except it wasn't a mock test. It had like talk through elements, and we redid a couple of roundabouts more than once. It was that weird route that took us to the strange village called Tregadillet I've got in front of me. There's a place called Treberzi, or Treberzi, and then Tregadillet. And in that village when we got there, it was actually like school pickup time, so this time it was hella crowded with loads of like parents and kids just crowding the street. So that was surprising. It started off, well, it was a very stressful day, so I was glad to get out of the house. But it started off a very dry and bright day after like an icy night, so there was a frost in the morning, but it had somehow got cold enough. You know when the air's like icy dry and it kind of dries out the roads, so you think you're gonna get ice in the morning, but in the afternoon it's all dead dry, you know. It was that kind of condition, so great driving conditions, very like dry, firm roads, no ice, no rain, nothing like any of the other conditions that I'd been in before, basically, up to now. It started off kind of overcast, but gradually the sun came out as we came to Launceston. I didn't bring my sunglasses and I didn't need them in the end, but we did have some brilliant skies and brilliant kind of sunset because the lesson started at 2 p.m. So it was 2 p.m. till 4 p.m. and we got a pretty good just before sunset on the drive. Stunning views. At one point a squirrel bounded out over the road, but we were going low speed, so it managed to scamper away before I got there. We did the same route, but he talked me through, and I didn't feel like the lesson was that good. There was lots of kind of stops and starts and things, but Tony thinks it was like he suddenly got all positive and encouraging, and he was like, "This it's like you're a whole different person or something." Like this is the best lesson that he's seen me do apparently. But for me it was just lots of stop and starting and lots of awkward gear changes and things, and yeah, I don't know. It was the same route, but all the things that I made a mistake on the mock test, he led me through again. So a bunch of roundabouts mainly, back and forth over the roundabouts. One of the roundabouts is like first exit, and you're meant to indicate left to leave because it's the first exit, but on the sign and in reality it's right. So it's so fucked up because you think there's a first exit, but there isn't, because it's like an exit with a no entry sign, and then the next available exit that you can take is actually a little bit after 12 o'clock on the diagram, so you're actually going right. So I would think to signal right, but he's had me signalling left for that one, and that's just a mind fuck in itself. Like, I've never thought like anything after 12 o'clock, anything to the right, and he's never taught me that you signal left to go right, always right to go right and left to go left, and particularly when you're positioning and driving left. So I think when I mentioned it to him, he thought it was kind of weird too. Like he hadn't noticed it before. Like, oh yeah, I guess you have to signal left to go right on this one, but do it anyway. And apparently you can fail if you don't do it, so you have to do that on that weird roundabout. There's one with a different roundabout with a tight bend left with chevrons that I did too fast last time, and then a sudden roundabout, and I did that lower speed this time. There was a different big roundabout there where I still don't think I'm ready to understand these roundabouts and the exact positioning and choice of signal on approach to the roundabout before you enter it. I know that you have to, if you're going straight ahead or if you're going left, you have to keep very left. But then later on there was a third or fourth roundabout I did where I went, okay, Tony's going to want me to keep very left this time. So I did keep very left, and he grabbed the wheel and steered me right as if I was far too left, or as if I was leaving the junction on an exit before the one I wanted. When I wasn't, I was just trying to steer left like he taught me and go around the edge of the roundabout. So I don't think I'm very good at roundabouts yet. There was one new thing, other than what I just said there was one new thing I learnt, where we were coming off the dual carriageway between Launceston and this Tregadillet place in Cornwall, and you come off the slip road, the dual carriageway, and firstly I've got to remember that that's a one-way road, so it's 2 lanes both my direction. The first time I did it, I thought something could come toward me off the roundabout on the other side of the road, so I couldn't go in the right lane because it's a 2-way road, but it's a one-way road because it's a slip road, and you wouldn't be driving onto the dual carriageway that direction down a slip road. So you keep right to go to this roundabout just off the dual carriageway from Launceston, and you're coming off the dual carriageway to go to Tregadillet. You keep right. It's sort of a mini roundabout. I think there's only 2 exits you can take, and in a different direction there's only 1 exit you can take or do a U-turn, which we did later in the day. The thing I learnt was, because we went down the right lane, we went around this roundabout, we pulled in at the side of the road under an overpass to do a briefing, and then we drove off, and I thought, what's the speed limit here? Oh, there's street lamps here, so it must be 30. Okay, I'll just assume this is 30, and I went up like 29 miles an hour, and later he came back to me and went, no, that was a national 60. You should have been going a lot faster, and they'll probably fail you on your test for going slow there. And I was like, okay, where's the sign for that then? And he said, there's no sign coming off the roundabout for the speed limit. I was like, well, how do you know? I was just looking. I assumed street lamps are the way you tell what zone it is. Like, if there's no signs around, that would be a 30 miles an hour zone because there are street lamps. And he went, like, if you're coming off a roundabout and there's no signs, that's the thing that can happen. There's no speed limit signs coming off a roundabout, especially after a dual carriageway. That means it's a 60 mile per hour zone, a national. And it would have said it ages back when you joined the dual carriageway. So you go, like, there's the national 60 sign is a white circle with a black streak through it, and on dual carriageways that's national 70, but on country roads off dual carriageways it's national 60. You get that before you get on the dual carriageway at Launceston. You get that sign, and then you don't get any other signs for fucking ages. You don't get a sign when you come off the slip road saying it's still 60 national, but it is. And you don't get a sign at the roundabout before it or after it saying it's still in a 60 national. You just have to assume that entire area of like several miles is all national until you get given a new sign. I didn't know that before. I didn't know there was like roundabouts where they didn't tell you the speed limit after you left, and you just have to assume it's a national because of something ages ago, miles down the dual carriageway. So that's another mindfuck thing that I have to try and get into my head. That's the main bits that happened. Apparently I was driving a lot faster in the right places. That bit where I was driving not slow enough was just due to me not knowing the speed limit, but all the other places where I was driving faster, and it was like, apparently Tony liked the speed being faster and the gear changes being more constant and happening more often, sort of thing. I think it was just because of the dryness of the day and the dryness of the road. You know, driving in torrential rain or driving towards ice or puddles, I don't think I'd drive that fast or be so confident in the gear changes. And I think actually the dry day allows me to hear the engine more, like when it's struggling and stuff, so I'm able to like change up and down the gears based on the sound of the engine. You can't do that in torrential rain because you can't fucking hear anything. You have a hard job seeing anything, and that's what you're focused on, let alone trying to hear anything. Yeah, I put it down to the dry, bright day, and the sun wasn't glaring in my eyes and stuff, which allowed me to see more road markings. He pointed out a bunch of the road markings that were rubbed off, such as the one that the sat-nav made out was a T-junction but wasn't. And so we just drove through that as if it was a bend. I like the bit in Tregadillet where there's a bunch of chicanes. That's kind of fun to do, and you're always doing it at a sort of low speed anyway. And this time I saw the mini roundabout that was after that. What appeared this time was an annoying kind of sign made of brightly coloured diodes that went like 25, it was like a speed camera type thing, but one of these things with like a smiley face on it and going 25, have a nice day, smiley face, and it's made out of like green and yellow diodes and stuff, like oversized, I guess, what do you say, oversized diodes, but miniature light bulbs halfway between the two, you know. And I was looking at that going, wait, hold on, am I doing something wrong? But then it went like 25 miles an hour in the 30 zone, smiley face, have a nice day, and I was like, I don't like that. Yeah, that pretty much covers most of what we did today. It was the same route as the mock test route that he chose last time. I think there are other different routes that you can do for the mock test. So it's when we do a mock test or when we do this sort of thing again, it will be like a different route through the same town. And we haven't driven from the test centre yet. We drove from like this weird tiny little housing estate next to two roundabouts. So according to him, I'm getting better. One thing that was annoying was on the way back he tried to get me to talk politics and stuff. He was like talking about anarchists and police and government and stuff, and I was like, not going to talk politics, not going to talk politics. And he's like, but don't you think the police are great? Don't you think government's good? And I was like, no, I'm not going to talk politics. If I talk politics, I have a feeling he'd like stop, because I don't know 100% what his politics are. I have a feeling he'd like develop some grudge against me or stop teaching me because he might have different politics from me overall. So, and judging what he said about police and stuff, he does. I'm guessing he's more conservative or perhaps monarchist. Yeah, something like that. But I'm not getting into it. I don't want to know what he thinks about that, and I don't want him to know what I think about it, to be honest, because I think it will get in the way, and we should just like be normies, non-political for the sake of the driving lessons and get it done. So I've got walls up, basically. Politeness boundaries to stop that sort of thing. Just getting my head down and trying to get it done at the moment, trying to get myself up to what he thinks is test standard. Because obviously I've moved my test from 30th of January, now the only available date was like 11th of March, so I've got to wait till then, and that might change as well. I hope it doesn't. For my first test, I wanted something nearer, like end of February, but it's more like end of first week March. He thinks it was a good lesson, I thought it was a bit dodgy with lots of awkward stopping, starting and stuff, but maybe that's how you do it, maybe that's what he wants. Anyway, I think I've covered everything, pretty much most of what happened today, not today, 2 days ago now. Catch you all later, folks.
Alright, who's first? Come on, who's first? Danny boy! Here's your present.
Come on, bro.
What? Oh, we knew you had to get back and forth to Cambridge for your new job, and I knew I wasn't gonna fucking drive you every day, so... Fucking Logan wanted to get you a T-Pass.
That's not what I was saying.
But, 21 now, so...
You're legally allowed to drink, so we figured the best thing for you, kid, was a car. How do you like it?
This is like... This is the ugliest fucking car I ever seen in my life.
Come on, brother.
How'd you guys do this? You know, me and Bill scraped together the pots, and, Morgan was out panhandling for change every day.
I had the rotor to do all the body work.
Yeah, I have a fucking job, too, brother.
You guys been up my ass for 2 years about a job. I had to let him help with the car.
So you finally got a job, huh, Morgan?
Yeah, I had one. Now I'm fucked again.
So what is it? A lawnmower? What do you got?
That's a straight fucking six.
Me and Bill rebuilt this engine ourselves here.
It's a good car, dude. The engine's good. Engine's good.
Happy 21, Will.
Happy 21, brother.
Sorry. I had to go see about a girl. Will.
Son of a bitch. He stole my line.